You are listening to Random Gameplay Pimpin'.
What is going down? What is going down? It is your boy, Studio MacGyver, and you are listening to Random Gameplay Pimpin'. Welcome to the show, guys. If you're new to the podcast, welcome to the show. If you're into nerd culture, if you are into anime, most importantly, if you're into video games, then you've come to the right place because we talk about all of that shit here. And on this episode, number 297, I have a few things to talk about I'm very excited about. I'm going to call this handheld edition. Okay. And I'll get to that in two shakes of a lamb's tail, but we got a lot to discuss this episode. I'm going to be talking about my favorite handhelds of all time. Yes. I'm going to also be talking about a new device that is out, just came out. Some people are a little salty about this, but some are very excited. I'm going to get to that as well. Also going to discuss The Last of Us on HBO. I literally just finished that and I wanted to watch it before I did this show for you guys. Talk a little bit about it. I will not spoil it, but I'll give you guys some details here and there. Also some Ubisoft news, and it's bittersweet, depending on how you look at it. I'm going to talk about that as well. And then what I've been playing recently. If you guys know me, you know that when it comes to my games and what I play, I'm pretty much a mixed bag. I'm all over the place. You never know what you're going to get. Each week is something different. And I don't know why I've been in that kind of a run recently, but that just is what it is. And I'm going to talk about that as well. So without further ado, let's begin the show. And I want to start off with a little bit of some news here. And I'm talking about Ubisoft. Okay. Now, if you guys don't know about Ubisoft, it's a love-hate relationship with Ubisoft. I'd say more love than hate because I really love a lot of the Ubisoft brands, a lot of their IPs that I really enjoy. And they're actually working on some stuff that is coming out in the future. They have the Star Wars license, so they are working on something that's supposed to be, and I'm assuming it's going to be game changing. The results, some of the things that I picked up on, some of the little news and little tidbits that are out there right now, and make me excited. I don't know about you guys, but there's a lot of stuff going on there. I talked about this before, maybe a week or two ago, about what Ubisoft was doing with their Star Wars IP. They're going to make this thing open world. They're going to do a lot of great things, supposedly. So they're trying to mimic No Man's Sky in a sense to where it's pretty much limitless to where you can go. I'm very interested to see how they're going to do that. But anyway, the reason why I bring them up is because their stock has pretty much plummeted in recent weeks, really over the course of the last 4-5 years. It's kind of, on a downward spiral. You can equate that to a lot of different things, though. You can equate that to, what's going on right now with this recession we're in. You can equate that to just some bad decisions or calculations with, certain games that they thought were going to do a certain thing and ended up not doing that. Case in point would also be a game that goes by the name of Mario and Rabbids Spark of Hope. They put a lot of hope, no pun intended, behind this game here and what the game was going to do. And for whatever reason, the game did not properly reach the goals that they had set forth. So that's a big hit, especially to shareholders. And there's been some other things as well. Beyond Good and Evil 2, if you guys don't remember that game, a game I'm highly anticipating still, a game that a lot of people have written off and thought that the game is dead. Okay. And some people still believe that. But recently they put out a statement saying that the game is not dead. They have a team on it. They're still working on it and trying to figure all this out. Okay. In my opinion, guys, looking at all of the video footage up until this point, it's a very ambitious game. Okay. Because keep in mind, if you guys don't remember, this game was supposed to come out for the PlayStation 4. Okay. It was supposed to be functioning on the PlayStation 4 system. Okay. Last gen consoles. So I think it's safe to say that them guys pretty much scrapped all of that, and they're probably trying to rebuild this from the ground up. We haven't seen anything on this game in quite some time. I think the game was announced in 2017. I think when we first got wind of this game. So yeah, man, it's a lot of stuff going on. Some would call it development hell, whatever you want to call it. But yeah, that's just one or two things that have been on the back burner with these guys. Supposedly also they have had a couple, I want to say 3 different projects, untitled projects that have started and then have been canceled. Okay. So those games are no longer in works. And I'm figuring because of the way the stock is looking right now and people pulling out and doing certain things, they're not going to be able to afford to have those projects, worked on right now. Maybe in the future, we get something, they breathe some life into it. But right now, as it stands, the numbers don't look well. So they're going to, of course, go for the big macaronis and the stuff that brings them the most money. And the Star Wars game is definitely one of those things as well. So like I said, I love the Division franchise. One of my favorite franchises as far as online games, because I don't play a lot of online games. I love third-person shooters. They do a lot of those. So, I mean, there's a lot of things to love about Ubisoft, in my opinion, especially with the Assassin's Creed stuff that they got going on and down the pipeline as well. I'm really looking forward to the one that takes place in Japan and focuses on becoming a ninja and all that type of stuff. So there's a lot of things still in the oven when it comes to Ubisoft. So I don't think they're going to go belly up or anything like that. I just think that right now it's a perfect storm with this economy and with everything else that's happening. So, I'm not really nervous as far as their stock's concerned. I mean, if you look anywhere right now, their stock is not going to be looking too pretty for most people. You know what I mean? So I say around 2024, close to that, we should see a lot of things change for the better, not just with gaming, but, other things as well. But that's another story. I just wanted to report that to you guys. There's a little stuff, there's a little something that Ubisoft is going through right now. So I thought I'd share that. And I just actually wanted to talk about Beyond Good and Evil 2. I just wanted to rehash on that because that's something I really am looking forward to. So hopefully ball doesn't stop rolling with that and we actually get a release. I'm probably dreaming, but 2023 is probably going to be too soon for that game. But I'm hoping for a 2024 release of Beyond Good and Evil 2. I got my fingers crossed. Anyway, moving on to other things I want to discuss right now. Let's talk about this. Let's talk about my anime watch list. Let's talk about that because if you guys don't know, all the new listeners, I try to make this a segment. Pretty much my anime watch list is something that I try to discuss with you guys, like my current situation in anime. What am I looking at? What's going on? What's on my radar? And right now for me, it's One Piece, of course. That's the main dish. I'm trying to get One Piece done. Okay, didn't get to watch a lot of it this past week, but I'm pleased to announce I have been watching also The Devil is a Part-Timer, and we cannot forget Nier Automata. That is the other one. That is it's an awesome anime. So far, so good, man. I have to say that. So far, so good. That anime is nice, and I'm enjoying myself with that anime. Okay, just thought I'd share that. But also, the last one I want to talk about is Vinland Saga. Vinland Saga. Anybody remember Vinland Saga? That first season was fucking epic. Okay. And it just snuck up on us. It snuck up on me, at least. I was going through my anime and it just popped up. Season 2. Oh, it's here now. Wow. I'm excited. Saw the first episode. Very nice episode. Can't wait to see where we're going. The second episode should be out now. I didn't get a chance to watch it. I was looking for it on Saturday, but I couldn't find it. So maybe I just missed it. So I'm going to go back probably tomorrow and find it. And hopefully I can figure out the actual air dates and all that. And I can get back on track with that. But yeah, so happy that is back, guys. If you haven't seen Vinland Saga, Definitely, I highly recommend you guys check that out. I think it's on everything right now. I know it's on Netflix for sure. I want to say it's definitely on Amazon, and it could be on some other ones too. Just check those out. It's on Crunchyroll as well. So yeah, definitely check out Vinland Saga for sure. All right, let's talk about what I've been playing. I want to discuss this a little bit real quick before I get into the, meat and potatoes of the rest of this show. And what I've been playing has been, you'll never guess. I mean, it's always something different. You'll never guess. That's kind of exciting thing. Like, I wonder what he's playing this week. Is he going to stick on one game for longer than a week? I wonder. And this week right now, I have been playing, believe it or not, WWE 2K 2022. Yes, I decided to give this game a second chance because it's free. I did not pay for it. It's free on PlayStation right now. For whatever reason, I don't understand why it is, but it is. And I took some time to learn the gameplay mechanics because they are like night and day. If you played anything before that, it is definitely night and day. I'm telling you right now. So if you're thinking about playing this or trying it out, get ready for a unique change. Okay. There's a lot of things that I like about it, but there are some things that I don't like still. But it didn't deter me from, really getting into the game and actually creating a character, which took me, if I had to put it in hours, it probably took me a good solid 4 hours, maybe 5 hours to make this guy. And I'm still not finished. I still haven't done the intro for him. But for the most part, he's definitely a badass character. I'm not going to lie. I'm having fun with it right now. Okay. That's what I've been playing. But the other game I just recently started playing that I'm really into right now is Final Fantasy X. Yes, Final Fantasy X. I downloaded it maybe a week ago and I said, man, I want to give this a run. And I've played it years ago, man. I can't remember how long it's been, but it's been a long time ago. So I could barely remember a lot of things. I remember certain pieces, bits and pieces, but man, playing that again, and it's a magical game. I've been playing it maybe for like 6 hours or something like that, and yeah, it's completely sucked me in, and I'll probably be playing a lot of that this week. Okay, and see how far I get and what I do with that. But yeah, this one looks like a finisher. This one looks like something that I will definitely work on and stay consistent with and play this one through for sure. Definitely enjoy myself. And I see why it's highly regarded as one of the best Final Fantasies out there because, Final Fantasy has some bangers. They definitely have some bangers out here in these video game streets. But yeah, that's what I've been playing, guys. Enjoying myself. And let's move on to the next lecture at hand. And this one, since it's fresh on my mind, let's go ahead and get it out the fucking way. The Last of Us, HBO. I'm literally looking at my TV and I'm looking at HBO Max, the screen. I just went ahead and paused it after the credits rolled. And I have to say that this show is certified banger right now. Even the previews after the show aired, they showed us what to expect and what to be looking forward to. Whoever did the makeup and special effects, I mean, kudos. Job well done. Okay. I felt like I was literally in that world, living out, those characters in the story, man. I'm telling you, I'm not going to lie and say I didn't take at first to the actors. I think mainly because, especially Joel's character, because of who he was, who the actor was. I'm so used to him in other roles. He's really prominent. He's done a lot of things. And I have a hard time sometimes when a character is being selected to play a role and they're so familiar. Sometimes I find myself having issues with that because I can't shake that character in the role he's played in the past, if that makes any sense. Same thing like when I went to go see Black Adam and it was The Rock playing him. It was very hard for me to get The Rock out of my head and not look at him as The Rock and actually look at him as Black Adam. So I kind of had that complex, not as bad, but I still had a complex with that at first. And then I say maybe halfway through, it kind of just washed away. It's amazing how you can get used to certain things and it just, your mind just kind of clicks in, it's a little off balance. And after that, it just clicks in place. And I think that's what happened. Him as Joel now has finally clicked in. I've watched enough of it and, man, it's already grown on me within this hour. Cause I think the first episode is like an hour and 7 minutes, hour and 8 minutes. So it's pretty meaty. You're going to get a lot in there. And what I do appreciate about this show, as well is the fact that they're not insensitive to fans of this series, because The Last of Us is one of my favorite all-time video game IPs ever. Okay, it really is, and the respect that they give the people who are watching this, it shows, because they know that a majority of these people are going to be fans of the series, and think of it like manga compared to the anime. Okay, so most of us who've played the games, we know the story of these characters. We know the outcomes, we know all these things. Unless they're prepared to really flip it on its ear and give us some other things, I don't know. But I will say that I appreciate the insight that they have given us in this first episode. And I think they're going to continue that trend, because they want to change things up. This has definitely been a little shakeup. So whatever you thought in your mind happened in the game, or you were going into this watching it thinking, oh, I know what's going to happen here or whatever, it doesn't necessarily happen exactly like that. Okay. They definitely give us some different angles and different scenarios as to what happens and how everything happens. So I appreciate that. And hopefully we get more of that as the show progresses. That's cool to me. So I'm really loving what they've done so far. I just really am. It's moving along at a nice pace. The characters, they give them some depth, even the characters that they didn't really emphasize too much on in the game. There's characters here that you kind of saw, you got to spend a little bit of time with, but they gave us a little bit more insight on some of these characters, as we watch the show. So I'm happy with the show. I can't wait to see the next episode, and I'm excited for this, man. I really, really am. So I don't know if I'm going to discuss this every week. I may be a week behind, because this comes out on Sundays and Sunday nights at that. So I've been recently recording these podcasts on Saturdays. So what'll probably end up happening is, if you guys don't hear me talk about the next episode next week, you'll definitely hear the week after. And I may be a week behind each episode, if that makes sense, because I would like to record on Saturdays. That's my chosen day if I can. But it depends. We'll see where we're at. There'll be some days where I may not record until Sunday for whatever reason, and then you'll be caught up. There may be an episode where I talk about 2 episodes because I'm caught up and I happen to record on a Sunday night. So it just depends. But right now, I'm enjoying the show. That's the most important thing right now. And if you guys haven't seen it, definitely check it out. If you haven't seen the actual or haven't played the game, you can also watch it. It's going to be a great watch regardless. But for us who've played the game and who are big fans of the series, and if you're worried about, if it's going to do the game justice and the lore and all of that, I think it's a watch. And I think also what's good and what I'm excited for is, some of the other plays or some of the ways that they emphasize certain things that didn't get as much attention in the game. And they've already shown us some of that. Like I said, I'm not going to bring it up because I don't want to spoil it for anybody who hasn't seen it and who plans on watching it just yet. So, but I'll leave that to your own interpretation when you watch the show. But like I said, there's some things that, there's things that the show can kind of shine some light on more so that the games may not have had a chance to do in certain aspects. And it kind of goes both ways. You can do it because the game, you got to think about the game, depending on how many hours it takes to play. You can play a playthrough of the first game. You can probably, if you're a speedster and you want to just run through it, you could probably do it in, I don't know, maybe 12 hours, something like that. You could probably run through it if you just, and maybe even quicker than that. I'm just throwing some stuff out there now. I don't know how many episodes this show is going to have. Maybe 8 to 10 episodes or something like that for season 1. I don't know. I guess I'll be able to gauge it a little more as we get like halfway, and depending on what has happened up to that point, I may be able to gauge it. And it may be online for us right now. It may be they may give us the episode count now. I haven't checked, but I'm going to look into that as well, because that will give me a little insight on how they may be able to embellish certain characters or certain things that happen in the story and in the world and in the lore of this beautifully crafted world, beautifully dark crafted world, if that's putting it correctly. But yeah, man, I'm excited. I cannot wait. And I'm also excited for the next game in the pipeline in this saga, in this universe, which supposedly there's some guy, if I'm not mistaken, he's a leaker. He's known out here in these video game streets. He's another guy. I can't think of his name right now, but he's leaked everything he's leaked up to this point. From what I'm hearing is 100% been accurate. And now he's talking about Sony's going to be putting out another State of Play soon, supposedly around the corner. And they're going to be focusing this one on third party games. So it's nothing to get too excited about. And the reason why I say that, because third party is just, it's for everything. It's not going to just be available on that system, but it will give us insight to other things that are coming out. And who knows, this is a Sony State of Play. So we may get a surprise here and there within this State of Play. Cause I don't really see Sony giving us a State of Play and not giving us something that is just dedicated to their IPs. Okay, so hopefully we get something there. But I've heard that we're going to get some information on this Factions game that's supposed to be coming out, and supposedly the information, from what I've heard, is very beautiful because it's going to focus on another set of characters in the same universe, of course, and in another state, another city, or whatever it is. But it's also going to emphasize not just PvP, because if you guys don't remember, the first Factions game was a PvP only. Okay, player versus player. This one here is going to be player versus player, but it's also going to incorporate PvE as well. So there'll be missions, there'll be things that you embark on, and you won't have to just worry about that. There'll be clickers out here. There'll be all kinds of different things like you're playing a game. So I'm really excited about that, man. And it makes more sense to why it's taking so long if this is really what they're doing. And now it's starting to kind of add up a little bit. And they said that they wanted to make this thing really big, really huge. They want to, emphasize that. And we know Naughty Dog, okay, they're going to definitely make everything grandiose, if you will. They're going to make sure that they line all their ducks up in a row. One thing they are absolutely beautiful at doing is production. Okay. Production, the quality of their IPs and what they do with it, from a technical aspect, especially, like they are, I want to say, second to nobody. Okay. Just go play The Last of Us Part 2 on your base PlayStation 4 and you'll understand what I'm talking about when I'm talking about technical genius right there. Okay. There's only a few teams that are capable of doing it that I've witnessed, and they're one of them. Okay. Santa Monica Studios is another team that can do that as well. They can turn, water into wine. If we're talking about comparing, looking at it through a gaming lens, okay? Because I don't know how some of these games, how they were able to do it. And you see other games, third-party games mostly, and they run like fucking trash because the developers have to fucking build this game on 2 to 3 different wavelengths and to get everything working right. So, it's a lot that goes on behind the scenes. But if you're dedicating your team to one piece of hardware and you do it right, there's no stopping you. Okay. And this game proves it. If you played on the PS4 like I did for the first time, you know what I mean? I've also played on the 5. It's breathtaking. It's breathtaking on the 5. It's already gorgeous, but man, this is an experience that everyone must play, in my opinion. I'm just keeping it real. Okay, I'll get off of that. But anyway, that's the news for The Last of Us and what's been going on with that in that world. I hope everybody's excited, just as excited as I am about it. Now, the main attraction, the main thing I wanted to talk about on this podcast, on this show, guys, has been the handheld scene. Okay, the handheld video game scene. And this is something that I've known existed, but this is something I recently I literally this past week fell completely down a huge rabbit hole. Okay. I don't know how it came to be. I don't know what I saw, what made me do it, but as somebody who is a huge retro fan, I'm a fan of the retro gaming world. I own, older machines. I own the Dreamcast. I own the Sega Saturn, Nintendo 64. Okay. I love my handhelds. I love my PSP. I have a PSP, Game Boy DS, Game Boy 3DS. I own these things, right? And still trying to collect all the other ones eventually. But anyway, I say all that to say, what if there was something, and there have been, and it's been proven. I mean, most people who are into the retro gaming scene, they have some sort of emulator, okay, on their computer or whatever. They keep it on even their phones or tablets. You know, my son was showing me, he was playing Nintendo 64 games on his tablet, okay, on his phone. And I was like, yo, that's crazy. The only thing, you know, keeping me from doing it like that is just there's no dedicated controls around it, you know? So what if there's a handheld, which there are many, believe it or not, there are so many handhelds out here right now made by Chinese developers, mostly, that do a lot of these things. Okay. They emulate, you know, it comes out, it's like they drop them every fucking 3 months, 3 to 6 months. There's a new one that pops up. Right. And that one's a little bit more powerful than last. Okay. Because you got those people, hey, I want to play. I love handhelds. I love Nintendo. You know, I love my DS and I love my Neo Geo Pocket and stuff like that. Game Boy Advance. I want to play these, but I want to play them all my favorites, and I want them on one handheld, you know? So these Chinese developers have been creating these devices and giving us just that. Okay. So recently I stumbled upon one that goes by the name of the Retroid Pocket 3. Okay, so think if there's a 3, there's a fucking 1, the original, there's a 2, and then they go with the pluses, and this is a 3 plus. Okay, so a lot of people are salty because the Retro 3 came out maybe 3 months ago. Okay, and then literally after 3 months they put out a 3 plus. Now, why people are so salty is because the 3 was a nice little piece of machinery, but the 3 plus is now starting to put us in an area where I want to be. Okay. And what I mean by that is I want to play my Dreamcast games. I want to play my Sega Saturn games, which are two of my favorite systems of all time, right? GameCube games, PlayStation 1, PlayStation 2, Neo Geo, MAME, which is the arcades, the actual arcades. If you remember ever going to an arcade, a lot of those games that are playing in there, those are usually ran off the MAME hardware. So those machines, all those games I used to play back in the day, like the Ninja Turtles, the first time I saw Killer Instinct, the first time I saw a lot of these fighting games out here on these fucking big ass arcade machines, you can literally play all these on one device. Okay. And I'm talking about the PSP. I'm talking about the Game Boy Advance. I'm talking about all these 5-star handhelds as well. And you can play them in the palm of your fucking hand. Okay. And this Retroid Pocket 3 Plus is delivering that. And what's the most beautiful thing of all about this is it's only $150. I'd gladly pay double for that, for a device that was going to give me that. Okay. Now I planned on getting the goddamn it, the damn name. It escapes me. I planned on getting a handheld, the PC handheld. The name escapes me right now. I can't. It's a Steam Deck. My bad. The Steam Deck. Okay. I really wanted a Steam Deck, and I still probably will eventually buy one, but that's really why I wanted a Steam Deck. I did not want a Steam Deck for current gen games. Okay. I didn't want to play, some of the games I'm playing now on my PlayStation 4 or something like that. I didn't want to play that on a handheld in particularly. I like to enjoy those games on the actual hardware, on the big screen TV, stuff like that. That's me. But you can still technically do that with these handhelds, because you can stream them off of your computer onto this device, because it's basically an Android in the palm of your hand. Okay. It's built like, like a PSP or like a Nintendo Switch. That's the only thing. It's just built like that. So you get all these things for $150, man. Okay. You order from China. It's going to take a couple weeks to get here, depending on where you're at on the map, because they have to, put it on a boat and get it out here or whatever, which is cool. But me personally, I couldn't wait. You guys know that. You can actually get these devices. If you want to pay a little bit more money, you can go to eBay. You can pay a little bit more and get it earlier. You can get it from a U.S. seller. There's not many of them out there. So I would definitely, hurry if you're thinking about it. But Amazon has them as well. But, Amazon is going to tax you for it. But it is possible to get it from Amazon as well, if you don't mind paying that. I personally, I'm not just saying this. I think that it's worth it. Mine is due to come in. Monday's a holiday, so it's due to come in Tuesday. So next week I will discuss with you guys everything about what I've been doing, what I've experienced. I've been literally also this past week been downloading a shit ton of games. If you don't know, this is all run on emulators. Okay. So all these games that are hard to find or that are, priced outrageously on the internet, you can play these for free. You can go download them and onto your PC or put them on a disc or something. And then when you get when you get a piece of hardware like this, or just on your standard computer, you can play them off of there. That's what I was doing for a lot of these. I had a lot of these on my computer. But what if you're traveling? What if you're going somewhere? What if you want to make a trip? This is all you need. I mean, I may take my Switch, but this one here for me, if I had to choose one, I'm taking this over the Switch for the simple fact that I can literally play GameCube games on this thing on the go. Like literally Marvel vs. Capcom 2. Like I can play that. I can play all these arcade games. I can play my Nintendo 64. I can play that in the palm of my hand. Okay. I mean, it's a dream come true. The PSP, trust me, I'm going to get into my favorite handhelds of all time. But when I tell you that the PSP's library, and I'm not talking strictly about the US library, but because that is enough in itself, right? But the Japanese side of games, like the shit that they come up with, the games that are out there that most of us don't even know about, unless you're just a diehard avid gamer, you don't know about, you'll never fucking see, you'll never get a chance to play. And those, I'm telling you right now, guys, those are some of the best games ever fucking made. I'm here to tell you that right now. I literally just discovered a fucking Fist of the North Star arcade game that I would have never found out about if I didn't just decide to go digging a little bit more. Okay. And it's a 2D game. Okay. Now they have their 3D games and all that, but this when I say the quality of this is like a Street Fighter 3 Third Strike or a fucking, Garu Mark of the Wolves type quality of a game. That's what this is. And my true fighting fans, they know what I just said. Trust me, they understand. I may be over some people's heads, but they know what I'm talking about. And I found it the other night and I downloaded it and I cannot fucking believe it. It's breathtaking. So, and this is just one of many, guys. And I'm talking about every system has a Japanese market. In our minds, we're thinking, okay, we know the games that came out here, but bro, did you know about this game? Or did you know about that game? And I'm like, yo, that game looks so cool. Like, I really would love to play this. But you know what? Guess what? You can download it, but it's in Japanese. Okay. Now, here's another dope thing about playing games that are playing games you can download. Okay. And playing playing on certain software. The beauty of that now is the fact that the Japanese games that a lot of us could no longer play, or we could play, but we just couldn't understand what the hell we were doing because we couldn't get around the menus or we didn't know certain things or aspects of the game. Guess what? Now, when you go to download a lot of these games, they already have United States or English patches with them. Some even Spanish, some even in other languages, right? So there's people, talented people, dedicated people who actually go and go into these games, okay? And literally fix the games and make the games playable for us. Okay. Some of them are more, are better than others. You may get one game, they may have 70% of it, done in English text, but they give you enough to get through the game and get through all the menus and everything like that. That's the most important thing, to get you through everything, right? So that's the beautiful thing. I've downloaded so many games with these patches already here, like a couple Gundam games that they never gave us Gundam games on the PSP in the States, man, because they assumed that America was not into Gundam like that and all of that. But there's a small portion of us who love the culture, who love all of that over there. and I'm one of them, and I love mech games. And the fact that I'm so giddy right now because I've got a couple of these Gundam games that have English patches, and I cannot wait to play them. And that's just a couple out of so many more, guys. I'm telling you, Japanese racers, there's all kinds of dope shit here. Okay, I'm just so excited, and I'm so excited to be able to play this on the fucking palm, in the palm of my fucking hands. And this company, they give you so many dope things. Okay. You can get screen protectors. You can get, certain things like that. You can also get a carrying case. You can also, get what I'm interested in. There's 8 different colors. Okay, to choose from, that you can get. Man, I had to sacrifice. There was one color I wanted, but because I'm so impatient and I had to have one ASAP, I sacrificed my color palette. But the color I got is still pretty dope. They do a lot of Nintendo based color schemes, which is pretty dope as well. I want this black and yellow, the yellow base body and then the black buttons. That's the one I was going for. Orange. They say it's orange, but instead I went for this kind of Nintendo baby cream color with the Nintendo beige kind of buttons on it. So I went kind of that route. I'll definitely be posting it on Instagram and everything like that when I get it. But yeah, I've downloaded pretty much 95% of all the games I want on my shit. I've got separate folders for each system. I've got a Dreamcast folder, Sega Saturn, Nintendo 64, PSP. The list goes on and on. Nintendo, all the way down to, that. Okay. I got so many different consoles, right? And I've just been going to certain sites. I've been Googling top games and different genres, top RPGs, all these things. And I've been downloading them and I've been putting them in their folders, and they're all, I think it's like 110 gigs worth of games right now that I've downloaded. Okay. And they're sitting in their folders, and I'm just waiting to get that knock on the door or get that confirmation that my handheld is here. And I'm going to get straight to work. And they come with, what's so cool also is they already come with all the programs, all the emulators and everything already on there. It's Android too. So you could do everything wireless if you wanted to. There's so many options you have with this. What makes this machine even better, because there's a lot of machines out there that are that use the same chipset. Well, I'm not going to say a lot, but there are a couple that have the same chipset. So basically you can emulate all the other games you usually can on the other ones. But this one has a one up on that and that one up is you can actually hook this up to it has an HDMI output. So you can hook that up to a TV if you want to play it on a big screen TV, which I could find myself definitely want to do that sometimes. So basically all I would need was the handheld and HDMI cord if I'm going on a trip or something like that, and say, you know what, I want to put it on a big screen TV. And because it's running on Android, you can throw your apps on there, like your YouTube or your fucking streaming apps if you wanted to. It's your one-stop shop machine if you really wanted it there. Me personally, I'm going to keep it game only. If I want to watch anything, I'll use my phone or something like that. I don't want to put everything on, all the strain on this device here. But hey, it's there for you if you want to do that. But I do think that the HDMI port is definitely dope as well. I think it's an awesome thing that it's able to do. So you can stream. So if you want to stream these games, you can literally do that. And then also the cool thing about using these games and emulators is that you can upscale these. So you don't have to worry about, quality. A lot of these, you get more quality out of them. Like the PSP games, you can upscale a lot of these games 3 and 4 times. So you're going to get that crispiness. And if you're playing on handheld, you don't have to do that. It's not really gonna, it's not gonna go too hard. But if you're on a big screen, you want to do that, you can definitely, get your socks off on that if you want. The options are there. And like I said before, guys, this thing plays, a lot of different consoles. It plays Nintendo, Super Nintendo, 64, Sega Genesis, Sega Saturn, Sega Dreamcast, PSP, Game Boy Advance, Nintendo DS, Game Boy Advance, which is another awesome system, and GameCube. It also plays fucking some Wii games, not a lot, not every Wii game, but they do play a decent amount of Wii games. There's people literally, as I'm speaking in this microphone, testing this stuff out now as we speak. There's a community already behind the Retroid Pocket where you can go and I think it's on, what is it on? Reddit? I think it's on Reddit for the most part, but you can go there and there's actually a cheat sheet. So it's games that have already been tested by gamers already, and they've given a tier list of games that don't work, or games that do work. So you won't waste your time downloading something that you won't get to play yet, because for whatever reason, it's just not up to par yet. Because some games, just for whatever reason, they don't mesh well. And you're going to get that with some PlayStation 2 games. You're going to get that with some GameCube games, and you're going to get that with some Wii games. But for the most part, you can play most PS2 games. You can play most GameCube games, and you can play some Wii games as well on this. So I mean, think about the PlayStation 2 by itself as well. All the fucking hits on those. And I know for a fact Kingdom Hearts have been tested. Kingdom Hearts 1 and 2 have been tested. So those work flawlessly there. I've downloaded those, of course. And then there's so many other ones, man. Like I said, the Japanese, I was looking into the Japanese side of things. There's a lot of cool Japanese games that didn't come here, that will never come here. And, they have patches as well, so you can enjoy a lot of those, man. And some you don't even really need patches for, because depending on what kind of genre it's in, you don't necessarily have to read too much. It may be beat 'em up or something like that, so you don't really need too much of that. And then you'll be surprised of how much English is already incorporated in a lot of these games already. You know, so it's a hit and miss type of thing with some of these titles. But I'm telling you right now, $150, you can't fucking go wrong with this. You're only going to win. This is a pure win for anybody who is a retro gamer, who's just a gamer, period. I mean, this is beautiful. This is beautiful. So all the games you remember playing in your childhood, you can literally play these upscaled at 60 frames, okay, on a handheld fucking device. You know what I mean? And that's the reason why the whole reason I wanted a Steam Deck to begin with, was because of that. And now I may not need it. I mean, I definitely won't need it anytime soon, because this baby right here is good. I mean, it's more than good. Like I said, I really wanted to play a lot of my old Nintendo 64 games, my wrestling games that I love so much, the NWO, WCW Revenge games, and the No Mercies. I also downloaded SmackDown, Here Comes the Pain, on the PlayStation 2. That one's been certified to work well on there, so I'll be rocking that out. That's another favorite that a lot of people like to play. I mean, like I said, guys, these games you'll never get again. They're not going to come out with HD versions of this. Anytime you have a game like that, where you have a lot of individual characters in IPs and red tape, it's never going to happen, because it's too much to be cut. They're not going to redo that. That means they'd have to go out to every wrestler. They'd have to fucking get their permission. They'd have to pay them. They'd have to do all these things. And so many things have changed since that game came out, and it would just never happen. So the licensing would be the issue with that. So the best way to play these games is to find it, download it, and experience it all over again, so no one can ever take it away from you. You see what I'm saying? It's all about preservation. Game preservation. I'm all for that shit. You know what I mean? Because the companies, they're not going to do anything with it. They're going to let it sit there, and they don't give a fuck what's going to happen. You know what I mean? But let a big company try to put it out or resell it. That's a no-go. So because it can't be resold, it's basically fair game, if that makes any sense. So yeah, and I have a lot of these old systems, guys, and if I want to play them, I'd have to boot them up. I'd have to be in one place. And you know, what if I want to play Dreamcast on the toilet? What if I want to play Dreamcast in bed, you know, or whatever? I can do that now. I mean, my mind is just so blown by what this device can do, man. Technology is so crazy. And the reason why it's so cheap is because this is coming from a Chinese developer, right? And the competition is so crazy with this stuff overseas that they have to bring down the prices. Trust me, if they could sell this for $300, they would fucking do it. But they can't, because they would lose out to so many other copycats or other companies who are putting out this same chipset, just in a different kind of body, a different kind of frame. And they have to stay competitive. So we win on that. And then what's so crazy also is there'll probably be 6 months go by and they'll have the Retro Pocket 4. Okay. So it just depends on, you know, how long you want to wait, you know, and get into this stuff. But I advise anybody, if you're interested, if any of this appeases you at all, definitely Google Retroid Pocket 3 Plus. and see what I'm talking about, guys. There's videos. There's people who put out testing videos every day where they'll give you a list of games that they've tested and all these things. So if you're worried, if you're in love with a certain game, say, man, I really want to play this. I would love to play this on a handheld device or whatever. You can do it. And what's so crazy is you can still do this technically if you have a phone, depending on what kind of phone you have. If you have a Android or a tablet or something, you could play a lot of these on here. But like I said, I've never been a fan of screen controls. Like the buttons are on the screen and so is the joypad and all that. Like it just doesn't feel right to me. I can never get into those. So you can literally you can do that without that and have that off of the screen and literally play like you're playing a handheld. And keep in mind, this is an Android. So you're also free to download the App Store and go in and download other games on the App Store. So if you're not familiar, they've put out other games. They've reproduced other games, popular games, a lot of these older consoles, and they've put them on the Android now. So you can play certain RPGs now. I think if you wanted to play like a so you wanted to play Final Fantasy Tactics, I think that's there on the App Store. You could download that, buy that, and you could play the Android version of that, which is high res, better sprites and things like that, HD version of that. And they've done a lot of other games like that too. So there's a lot of options, and we're not even getting into the Android games either. So there's those as well. So you have plenty of options with this thing here. I like I said, my son, he literally plays his shit all day. He has his fucking tablet 90% of the time. And he's playing Call of Duty mobile on that thing. And I keep hearing great things about Call of Duty mobile. But yeah, that's another game that I saw being tested. And, like I said, man, it's a beautiful device. And you can't beat it for $150. I wanted to talk about that. I wanted to put this on the map because anything that I do, I buy, I try out, I'm intrigued by or interested in, and it's gaming related, I'm going to share it with my listeners. And that's why I'm doing this now. So I'm not going to tell you to go out and buy anything that I wouldn't fucking buy. Okay. Please believe me. And that's why I bought it. And that's why I'm going to give you guys an update when it comes in next week. And we're going to talk about it again. And if it is everything that I think it is, then we're in for some great things. And I would definitely, if you're trying to spend something and you don't mind waiting a few weeks for it to come at your door, I would highly recommend spending this $150 after taxes, maybe like $178, maybe $170, something like that. And boom, you're in the door. Okay. And if you got a computer, there's your games right there. There's your games. Boom, you have them. Okay. So yeah, man, I'm excited. I cannot wait. I'm playing Final Fantasy X right now, but I could literally have been playing that on this if I would have waited. Yeah, man, I'm excited. But anyway, now I want to talk about the handhelds, the actual handhelds. We'll break down my top handhelds, and I got them in 6. There are more than 6 handhelds, but these are my top 6 Androids. What am I talking about? These are my top 6 handhelds, okay, of all time. Period. Now I have to bring this up. I really struggled with the Switch because I didn't know if I wanted to add that on this list or not, because it's kind of a hybrid system. But in essence, there's a couple in here that actually are as well. So I just said, you know what, I'm going to add it, and I'm going to start from number 1. Well, should I start from 6 or should I start from number 1? I'm going to go with, I'm going to start with number 1. Fuck it. The number 1 handheld, in my opinion, is the Nintendo Switch. Is the Nintendo Switch for a number of different reasons, guys. The library is sick. We all know that Nintendo has some of the best IPs ever around, period, point blank. And really what I love about the Switch is that it's portable and also the App Store. Okay. The store that they have, the storefront, because they have so many indie games. It's a baby Steam Deck is what it is to me. It feels like, because there's so many games that I think people miss out on because they haven't heard of them or anything like that. There are thousands of indie games, indie made games on this thing, and a lot of them are breathtakingly beautiful. A lot of them are just hidden gems. There are so many And that, I think, is why I put the Switch number one. And then all the accessories you can buy. I mean, Nintendo is known for their accessories. There's so many things that you can buy for the Switch. There's so many variations. No two people's Switches could be the same. They've got the handheld version as well. So it's kind of like, man, they have a lot going for them. And it's travel friendly. Definitely. Like I said, I have a kit that I buy where I don't have to take the main portion. I can just take the Switch and take a couple other pieces and boom, I'm good. I can play on big screen because I like my Switch being played, believe it or not, on a big TV. Because to be honest with you guys, if I play the Switch how it is without anything else on it, it's very uncomfortable after a little bit. After about an hour, my hands are very uncomfortable playing that Switch like that. So, some thumb grips or something like that, you definitely would need for long plays. And so I just went ahead and just bought a wireless controller, and I'll take my stuff and I'll play it on the TV. That's how I usually run my Switch. But it's number one, and I fought with this because I wasn't going to put the Switch here even on the list, but it's here. And I also even fought with the number two system right now that I'm gonna bring up here. Because this system here it could be number one depending on if you caught me on another day. If you would have caught me on a random Tuesday afternoon, I might say that this was my favorite. And I'm talking about the PSP, Sony's PlayStation Portable. This thing right here, this little machine right here, man, was way ahead of its time. Way fucking ahead of its time. There was so many dope things you could do with this thing, man. I mean, the fact that you had movies that you could buy for it, alone was awesome. And you could put movies like you can play MP4, you can play AVI, videos on this as well. So as long as you had a memory card and movies, you could have it on your Switch. You could have your own movie library there for the taking and watch it there. Also, the PSP had a device you could buy where you could play it on your TV as well. So if you wanted to play on a bigger screen, you had the opportunity to do that as well. I just thought the tech was just so great. I love my PSP. I fucking love it to death, man. I just think it's a great device. It's just an awesome device. I love Sony. You guys know that. And the PSP to me, but the library of games, oh my God, it's sick. I mean, the library they have so many great games, guys. They really do. And I mean, even the Dragon Ball tag game that they had, it was something that they created strictly for that. Like, you're not going to play that. You're not going to find that anywhere else. You know what I mean? Everybody was playing or into, Budokai Tenkaichi 3. And, this said, okay, we have a version of that. We have something just made for the PSP. And that was an awesome game, a 2-on-2 Dragon Ball game. Like, really? Like, fuck, man. I'm just saying, this is just one of many. Racers, they have a shit ton of racers. They have their fucking RPG fanatics. They have so many fucking RPGs. The list is ridiculous on that. They have everything. They have something for everyone. I mean that. I mean, like the golfing games, like just so many great things they do. Oh man, it just popped in my head. I need to download some golf games because I love golf video games, guys. I don't know what it is. I just love playing them. And, I'm going to add some more of those. So my list is almost complete, but not quite. But anyway, pretty much they have every genre. They're known for every genre. If you can think of a genre, the PSP has you covered. There's no genre that would be missed here. Anything. They have something for you. So, and this is before I even cracked into the Japanese market, like what they had over there. Their Japanese library, in my opinion, is even better. Okay. Like I found a great deal of them. Like I said, a lot of them are patch friendly with the patches already down and ready. So you just download it and you're ready to go. Patches already set. They have the old version as well. So if you wanted the old version, cool. But if you want the patch version, it's there for you. So yeah, man, I think the majority of my games, which are like I said, 110 gigs, 40, a little over 40 is belongs to the PSP. I think I have about 50 to 60 PSP games that I downloaded, on there. So I I'm so ready. And as time goes by and I may discover, other games throughout my, months or years, whatever, discovering things people may recommend a certain game or something like that. And then, I can just literally just go to the computer, find the game, download it, boom, stick it on that device, and we're home. Okay. Easy peasy, lemon squeezy. That's what I mean by that, guys. I mean, the software that it comes with now has done so many great things. Even people who have had older models and now have the 3 Plus is saying that, installation is way easier now. They jumped all the hoops, they eliminated. You don't need all that. Like I said, because of the software that's already on the device, it's almost, tailor made to, as soon as the game comes into the scene, it's like, okay, we know where it's going. We're going to put it here, this folder, that folder, boom. Really, all you got to do is just find out which folders you have and connect the folder to the device, to the software, the emulator, and you're good. You know what I mean? PlayStation 1. Let's not forget all the RPGs that they had there at their disposal. And also, one of my all-time favorite games on the PlayStation 1 is not Final Fantasy VII, ladies and gentlemen. It is Tobal #1. It's a fighting game. A lot of people don't know what that is, but yes, Toriyama was in charge of the art style. He designed the characters, all that joint stuff, all that dope shit. And there was a Tobal #2 that never released in the States. Okay, and it has way more characters. I think Tobal 1 had like eight characters, I think 8 to 10 different playable characters. And this one here, they highly elaborated on, and it never came to the States, man. You know what I mean? That's the type of stuff I'm talking about. We don't get access to all this shit, so now we have access. We get that now. What's the word I'm looking for? The fan service, or the fans of those type of games now, because of the internet, has exploded. And now there's a true fan base, a large fan base from the States. So they're taking all of us who are into all this stuff, our Japanese nerds and stuff. And now we have somewhere where we can go, and we have the games that we can enjoy as well. You know what I mean? So, and I'm not even going to get started on the anime games, all the One Piece games, all the Naruto and shit games that were out there that never came over here, that we didn't get a chance to get. Like, yeah, it's real. It's real, and they're there. And I'm excited. I'm here for all that shit. So I'm just excited. But the PSP #2, depending on what day you caught me on, it could be #1 as far as handhelds are concerned, guys. I remember back in the day, I used to put porn on my shit. I used to have, some videos and stuff on my PSP, man. Like everything. Anyway, #3. The #3 one, I'm talking about the Game Boy Advanced. The Game Boy Advance was just one of those systems that just, I don't know. The words cannot describe this little device here, man. It's just something about it. It's like cutesy. It's cutesy, but at the same time, it's sharp. It can like, it's just a awesome system, man. The graphics, the colors pop off the screen. So many great memories of the Game Boy Advanced, and so many great games on that fucking machine. Sometimes I couldn't believe how dope these graphics looked. They were able to do with this system here. They have two Metroid games off the chain. They have a lot of dope RPGs on there as well. That's another RPG machine in itself. And it's kind of like the PSP of the Nintendo to me. Like sort of, it didn't do all that PSP shit, but it just felt right, man. I don't know. A lot of the games were just, I don't know. They have a lot of charm to them that I haven't been able to find on any other Nintendo handheld. And that's saying something, because Nintendo's handhelds are fucking second to none for the most part. All their handhelds are fucking awesome. They are. But the Game Boy Advance, man, was just another thing. That's why I never understood Nintendo, especially with right now with what they're doing. They could have easily, and still can, give us those virtual consoles like they did, I think, on the fucking, was it the GameCube or Nintendo Wii, where you had the virtual consoles, man. You had all the games you wanted to play on the handhelds. You could download them and play them there. I mean, it would be perfect for the Switch. Like, why wouldn't the Switch have a Game Boy Advance digital store where you can buy all their games? Same thing with the Nintendo DS. Same thing with, you see what I'm going to, I don't understand that. I don't understand why they don't do that. They're losing so much money. They could easily do this stuff. I think they're just maybe slowly trying to milk this, the Nintendo Switch, and who knows, maybe they say fuck it and never come out with it and never do that. But, somebody's going to do it. If you don't do it now in this time, in this day and age, somebody else is going to come up with that idea, and somebody already has. I've been playing Game Boy Advance games on my computer for years, but now being able to take that in handheld mode is going to be excellent, man. All my favorite handhelds is going to be sick. But yeah, Game Boy Advance, they have some excellent games, guys. Excellent. Number 4, the Nintendo DS. Yes, the Nintendo DS. They had a catalog that was awesome as hell as well. Please don't get that twisted. And what's so cool about the DS is that it was backwards compatible with the Game Boy Advance. So if you had Game Boy Advance games, you could play them on your DS, man. That's a cool thing that they had. And my daughter gave me her old Nintendo DS because for her birthday, I think I bought her a DS. It was pink. And then like a couple years later, she wanted the 3DS, so I bought that. So when she got her 3DS, she said, "Dad, I don't play this anymore. I don't need it. So you can have it if you want." And I was like, okay. I didn't know what to do with it for a while, so it just sat collecting dust until I discovered homebrewing and what that was, and how you could jailbreak that thing and then turn it into a machine. I mean, that thing now, that pink that pink Nintendo DS, it plays any Nintendo DS game that I want. It also plays Nintendo, Sega, Neo Geo Pocket. Okay, that thing has a lot of that type of stuff on there. Okay, it has Garou, Mark of the Wolves on there. Like, it's crazy. That small, tiny screen, it has that on there, and it plays it flawlessly. So yeah, man, that's definitely a dope machine. If you want to just do it for homebrewing purposes, I'd highly recommend anyone who has a DS. You can usually get them for about $50. Grab one. You can jailbreak it real quick. And yeah, man, you're in the door. You got your games, not just DS though. You can do other games too. I don't have any Game Boy Advance games on there though. That's the crazy thing about that. That thing did not emulate Game Boy Advance games, which was crazy because it plays the cartridges. So for whatever reason, they couldn't figure out how to emulate that way. But you can still do a lot do a lot with that and get a lot out of it. You know what I mean? It was an awesome system. It had a lot of great games there too. And that is number 4. Number 5, 3DS. To me, it's just the DS, souped up version of the DS. So it's there. They definitely had their games, and I definitely dig the 3D portion of it and how that worked. A lot of the games that when you play them, that it is an awesome experience, but the library wasn't as good in my opinion. They had some bangers. Don't get me wrong. Dragon Ball Fusions is one that I absolutely adore. It's an RPG game that allows you to fuse different Dragon Ball characters and make your own kind of hybrid characters. Like, it's crazy game. You know what I'm saying? If you're a Dragon Ball fan, you may have heard of it. If not, maybe you haven't. But if you have a 3DS and you're interested and you may be curious, definitely check out Dragon Ball Fusions, man, for sure. I need to play that. I need to get back on that. It's a long game too. It's plenty to do, plenty to fucking do. So, and that's just one of many. They have so many excellent games. I think, I have, also they redid the Zelda, the Zelda games on the Nintendo 64. Like, yeah, they have some bangers there. So that's number 5. Number 6, and the final one, is going to be Neo Geo Pocket. The Neo Geo Pocket, I love Neo Geo. It's another machine that I really loved back in the day. It was a meme. It would be a meme today of how expensive it is. I think it was like $650 back then. It was a cartridge-based machine, but it was like an arcade port. Okay, because if you're not familiar, arcades are cartridge-based machines. So if you open the arcade up, it plays cartridges and runs off of that. So that's what this was, and that's why it was so expensive. I guess they wanted to price you out, but it had some amazing games on there, and especially fighting games, guys, which is one of my favorite genre of fighting. The King of Fighters series, they're known in the Neo Geo streets, all of that. So, and then their own arcade games. There's so many of them that came out. Besides that, so yeah, that is going to be the number 6 game or console or handheld, whatever you want to call it. Those are my top 6, and I love them all, and there are other ones out there. You have your fucking Game Gear out there, Sega Game Gear. I used to have one of those, which was cool. You had your TurboGrafx 16. Part of my brother got one of those for his birthday. That was an awesome machine. I remember playing Bonks on that. Love Bonks Adventure, man. It's another classic 16-bit game that I love the music. I love the concept. I love that character, man. I just thought it was awesome. And you had the TurboGrafx 16, and there were some others. The Lynx, Atari Lynx had one. Yeah, it was a lot of different ones out there. And there's a lot that I'm not bringing up right now, but those are the ones that come to mind. And there have been some failures too out there, some that never even made it to retail. So, yeah, man, there are a lot of them out there. And then, I'm forgetting one major one, which is the Vita. The Vita, a partner of mine loves the Vita. He has the Vita. I think the Vita is an awesome fucking machine. And the only thing wrong with the Vita, in my personal opinion, is that they fucking gave up on it too fast. I think if they would have, stayed afloat and kept making games for it, I think the Vita could possibly have been one of the greatest handhelds ever. It had that promise about it, and I still want to buy a Vita for, if anything, just to homebrew that and have, certain games and stuff on that too. But it doesn't make any sense technically from a gamer standpoint if I'm just into playing games to do that when I have this device here. And I think the Vitas, are around the same price, if not a little bit more, if you're trying to find one of those right now. So, I'm just saying, guys, for the system, for the things that are going on, for what you're trying to do, with a handheld, with a portable, I think this one here, the Retroid, is one of the best ones you can get. There are other ones out there, and you feel free to look. There's more powerful ones even out there, in the same family, to be honest with you. If you want to spend more, it just depends on what you're trying to emulate. If you're looking to play maybe other games, like if you want to play like current gen games on a handheld, then your Steam Decks, and there's some other ones, I can't think of the names now, but there's some other handhelds you can find out there for around $300-400, and that will give you that, but for me personally, what I'm trying to play is right up to about the PlayStation 2 and below. And that's good, all those games, all those consoles. So I'm good with that. And then my other games I play at home, so that's what I'm looking for. That's what I was trying to find. To be honest with you, all I wanted to do really was play my Nintendo 64 and, really my Nintendo 64 on like something handheld made, like I could just, rock out and not play it on a tablet or something like that, and get some of my other game systems on there. This is going to solve that for me. So I'm here to tell you that. That's going to do it for the show. I want to thank everybody for coming out, listening, downloading, streaming the show. If you're new to the show, guys, I hope to see you next week. We do this every Monday, same bad time, same bad channel. Also, to all of my listeners, if you want to show love, if you want to show more support, you can easily do that as well. If you go to www.dragonballdrip.com. If you're a Dragon Ball fan, if you're a fan of the Dragon Ball universe, check out that website. I'm going to be having new designs coming soon to that website. This year, so be on the lookout for that. And I will definitely keep you posted when I have new stuff. I will announce it on my show for you guys to take a look at that. Also, check out the YouTube channel, Random Gameplay Pimpin's YouTube channel. Go there, subscribe to the channel, show your love and support there. Also, I have a TikTok now as well. Check out the TikTok from Random Gameplay Pimpin and go show your love there and follow me there. Instagram as well. So we're everywhere now, guys, and just show the love, and, I would appreciate that dearly. So with all of that being said, I will see you guys next week. I'm going to play some Final Fantasy X after I edit this podcast. And yeah, man, this is how we do it. I love you guys so much. Once again, thank you all for your support. With that being said, I'm out. This is your boy, Studio MacGyver, and you have been listening to Random Gameplay Pimpin'. See you next time.